7 years ago, it was very much like the elopement photographer was huge. Everyone wanted to be traveling. Everyone wanted to be in the mountains. And that's what everyone was like rebranding into. And now I feel like luxury is where everyone is just like, I'm a luxury photographer.
And I feel like they're doing that because they're trying to distinguish themselves from all of the newcomers.
Yes.
Right? And so we have to be luxury. We have to be high end and those kinds of things. But we're stripping back at the same time the actual things that make you different.
Hello and welcome to episode 270 of the Wisdom in the Tangents podcast. If you've been around here a while, welcome back. Thank you for being back here and listening. I'm really grateful for you. And if you're new here, I'm also grateful for you. And I'm very happy that you clicked play today. I'm your host, John Mansfield. This is a show for photographers and creative entrepreneurs. I am a photographer and creative entrepreneur myself. I'm a wedding and commercial photographer and a business coach and mentor. And what I want to do with all of this, especially with this podcast and the mentoring, is to help you to build a successful and sustainable business that allows you to create the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. And today I've got a great conversation with Rebel Lucas of Linya Creative. And we're talking all about brands. We're talking about how we can stop stripping back the things that make us unique and different and stand out, because we've just been trying to fit into whatever box we see out there and just like, this seems to be working for them, I'm going to try and do this. And it just becomes all the same noise. And I really love this conversation. We get into so many different, and real quick before we get into that conversation, I do have an announcement to make. I kind of briefly hinted at it last episode. If you listen to the end of the part 2 of the best of 2025 series, but we are on Patreon now. So if you would like to support the podcast, either for free just by being a member of the Patreon community there, or if you'd like to for the low price of less than a coffee a month, you can support this podcast, depending on where you get your coffee, I guess, but less than like a Starbucks coffee, let's just say that. You can support this podcast. You can also just Venmo me for coffee if you want to just give me coffee. I will take that too. But I'm really wanting to kind of move our community away from social medias and into a designated place like Patreon, where I'm going to be doing more website critiques, portfolio critiques, one-on-one, like mini mentoring sessions there, all included in the price of your membership. So like I said, you can also join the free membership where you still can access some of those. Going to be doing Ask Me Anything every month that you can be part of, as well as some other promotional things. But you will also get all of these episodes ad-free if you join on Patreon. So just a little plug for that. I'm very excited about starting this new place. I've already got a few episodes in there. The last, probably 4 or 5 are already on there for you. So you can listen to those ad-free. But enough with this ad for Patreon. Let's get into my episode with Rebel Lucas. Yeah, Rebel, let's get into the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We were just talking about how it's been over 2 years since we've seen each other in person and met, because we met at the Heart and Hustle conference
Yes, in Dallas.
Their
So,
very last one.
yep, yep,
So
yep.
so far, we'll see. I don't
Got
know.
in. Yeah,
I could see Evie and Lindsay being like, "We're bringing it back,
yep.
2030."
Me too. They're full of surprises, so who actually knows?
Full of surprises. But yeah, it was really fun. Met a lot of really cool people there, yourself included.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm glad that we're reconnecting here. So
Yes, for sure.
I'm excited to chat, catch up.
Yes,
Outside of our Instagram
right.
stories, but yeah, can you give us a little background about you, where you're based, what you do, and all that?
Yeah, so I'm Rebel. I am the designer and systems nerd at Linea Creative, which is a full service creative studio. I am in Fort Worth area, so here in Texas. And so going to the Heart was really easy for me. It was like right around the corner, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to be able to go there. But yeah, so I do branding and website design and also system setup for like wedding professionals. And I'm really passionate about that because I used to be in the wedding industry myself and have like a lot of really good friends in there and all that. So yeah, I just love bringing to life and kind of showcasing the amazing vendors and passionate people that are in the wedding industry and getting to yeah like bring to life and bring confidence to their business through personality packed branding, purposeful website design, and uh, powerful systems is kind of what I say.
Nice.
I feel like I graduated Texas A&M with a math degree, so I have a very like systems logical brain. And then I was originally a teacher, so I had like a creative side too. And so this world of branding and websites and systems is like the perfect whirlwind of what makes my brain tick.
Yeah, it's like scratching both sides. It's like you get your
Yeah.
left brain over here and your right brain working
Yep.
together. And yeah, I love that you said that like you bring or like allow people, your clients, to like have that confidence, because I find
Mm-hmm.
that like a lot of your confidence does come from your brand,
Mm-hmm.
and most people, especially in the wedding industry, have no brand, or they're
Yeah.
just like,
Sure.
they created something with their free Canva subscription, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, this was a template, I threw
Right.
my initials in there,
Yeah.
and here we go. And
Yeah.
which is how I started off. Well, Canva wasn't around then,
Yeah.
but because I'm old, but but
I was like, wait, I
I
feel
used
like it probably
Photoshop.
is.
It may
Okay.
have been. I don't know. I was not introduced to Canva until maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe it just wasn't popular then.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't date yourself too much, okay?
Okay.
We're
Okay.
young.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm young at heart.
Right. There you go.
But yeah, like there's a lot of like just kind of like winging it and putting your own
Hmm.
brand together and being like, I don't know what these colors mean, but
Yeah.
I like purple, so purple's
Yeah.
going to be one of my brand colors.
Yeah.
And not really having a cohesive brand position,
Hmm.
mission, anything like that, that kind of like leads you, and having that, working with a professional like yourself, like honing in all of that, gives you that
Hmm.
confidence of like, oh yeah, this is who I am, this is
Right.
how I can show up.
And I always tell people that it's two, like one, it says, okay, this is who I am. It allows you to have a guideline and
Mhm.
also it allows you to show up more confidently because you don't have to overanalyze how you show up because there's these guidelines, there's this like starting point or like when it comes to maybe creating graphics for your stories or whatever, like you already know kind of you're taking a mental load almost off of you because you already know
Yeah.
like this is my suite, this is my brand, and you feel confident to send people to your website where you don't have to sell or you don't have to have this pressure of like I have to show up like perfect or polished because like you feel confident that this is like my brand and this is my website and it tells you everything you need to know about me and what I do, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Oh yeah, like you're building tower of blocks. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
instead of starting from the ground floor every single time, being like, okay, so what do I need to do? And like
Right.
using all that mental bandwidth to just like put down the first few blocks. It's like, we're already starting at level 10 because you
Yeah.
have
Right.
all of this covered. Now you can
Yeah.
just do the next couple and then you're
Yep.
good. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure. I
no.
also feel like too, there's a level of like, I always say, and maybe this is just a me thing, but I always feel like, the saying, look good, feel good kind of
Mm-hmm.
element. I
Oh
almost
yeah.
feel the same with your branding. It's like, I know that I'm showing up professionally. I know that I'm being perceived as professional. And so I can show up that way as well because I can back up my professionalism or what it's portrayed forward in the front and on the back end as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. Like I think of my early days in the wedding industry. I showed up like dress clothes,
Hmm.
tied and everything. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was
Right.
using a like $300 camera with a kit lens at my first wedding. And I was just like, all right, but I look professional and
Hmm.
I'm showing up acting professional.
The way
And
that you want to show
the way
up.
that I want to show up. And I wasn't a professional yet, but
Right.
it gave me the confidence to do the things. And then I was like, okay, I see, like I also learned from my mistakes and was like, I see that I
Right.
needed to actually like have an idea of a timeline before showing up on the wedding day. That's good to
Right.
know. And yeah, but like showing up professionally, it like it has that confidence, like almost it even has like perceived confidence from the
Hmm.
people who are viewing your website, your social media and all of that, of like, oh, they're put together, they're
Hmm.
professional, they know what they're
Yeah.
doing. Now I'm gonna actually like look at their stuff and see if we're a good
Right.
fit.
There's a level of trust that it builds
Yeah.
between somebody who is exploring. Like,
Hmm.
let's say your website is the outdated, or let's say it has the Pixie Set or Wix.com thing at the bottom,
Right.
right? And it's like kind of put together. And then they go to your services page and you have your transparent pricing on there and you're charging 6K, or whatever. And they're like, well, they're charging 6K, but this website doesn't really kind of match that level of
Right.
pricing, or 10K or whatever. Then there's going to be a bigger, like, stressor between getting them to understand that no, I do show up that way. I do perform
Hmm.
in a professional and high level standard that meets what I'm charging you. And I think, like, for me, something that I've always kind of on the back end, what I feel is my kind of like subtle mission is that, like, I've been in the wedding industry. I've also been a bride within the last 3 years and went through the process of like reaching out to vendors and stuff.
Yep.
And there's just so many shady shit out there, like, and there's almost this like underlying mission of mine to make the people who actually give a shit about their business and who do want to show up like stand out, aside from everybody else who are
Yep.
just maybe money grabbing, or like the kind of tossing people to the side and like trying to just get their next client,
Hmm.
right?
Just another
um
number. Yep.
yeah, and I feel like that's kind of become my like hidden mission, is like, no, I want the people who actually care, who are putting in everything to allow that to show to those clients, so that people have no like second guesses of like, this person cares and they're going to show up for me because it's evident through their branding, through their website, through all these things.
Yeah. No, I love that. Like because when we don't know what we're doing, we do look like everyone else who's just like, you're another number, you're here,
Hmm.
like they'll take your deposit and then
Hmm.
not talk to you for 8 months. And
Right.
then you're like, the week of the wedding, like, are you still good to photograph my
Right.
wedding? And like,
Or we've all seen those Facebook posts, right?
yeah.
In the Facebook groups where it's like, this person scammed me. And
Hmm.
then you can like go to their website and it's like, well,
Well,
good
obviously,
kind.
yeah.
I mean, like that kind of thing or whatever, right? So, yeah,
Yeah. No, and like having that good brand sets you apart to where people, like you said earlier, like have that trust where they're like, okay, you're different. You're different than the
right.
10 other tabs that I have open that I'm like, okay, maybe.
Right.
And then they get to
Yeah.
yours and they're like, oh, but you, okay. Now this is
Right.
the one. So
Yeah.
like with some of that, like whenever we're doing this on our own, whenever we're trying to like just figure out things, and to be honest, plagiarize from a lot of people because we're just looking at
Yeah.
what seems to be working for others and just like, well, I'm going to
Right.
do that then, but
Hmm.
poorly. And, and like, what are some things that you see, especially in the wedding industry, of just like that we're getting wrong when it comes to our branding, like especially
Yeah.
personal brands?
I think like getting stuck into a box,
Mm,
especially like you just said, like we see these other people who, and honestly, you're probably finding them and they are the top of their game, right? So like they're probably already super established and all of these things have probably paid the professional, have probably done these things right.
yep.
And instead of kind of taking that and adapting it to fit your own, you just said, well, they're luxury and they do that. So I'm going to do that exact same thing. But then you're competing with somebody who's had, so much more experience and credibility and all these things, right? And back to your point, you kind of blend in. And so I think the biggest thing is like people are so scared to embrace themselves and their brand. And I think the wedding industry is one of the only kind of industries when it comes to branding that you can be very personality packed, that you can be very like your personality put into your brand because
Yeah.
photographers, planners, those kinds of people, they are the main character of their right of their brand. And so allowing that to kind of come through and not being afraid to show some personality, and embrace the things that maybe are different about them and showcasing that, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I have always had a hard time um, determining what's different about me,
Hmm.
and like really sitting with myself
Yeah.
and feeling like, okay, what is John? Like, what
Right.
makes me me? And because I've for sure plagiarized a lot and like looked for inspiration early on,
Hmm.
and was just like, okay, so they're doing this, I'm gonna try and do that.
Yeah.
Or the market
I would
in
look outside of
outside of the
your
industry.
your industry, right?
Yeah.
So like one of my questions, so like when I go through branding, I ask like pretty lengthy questions, right? Like questionnaires for my people. And I typically say that it's a therapy session,
Nice.
because like we really do dig into a bunch of different things of like where you want to go and all that. But I feel like the personality pieces that I pull from are like I ask people, what are your inspirations outside of the wedding industry, right?
Mm.
What are the things that like someone had like is really inspired by, oh, I'm gonna forget the artist, but like architecture in Spain, some like guy who like made the architecture in Spain,
Yeah.
right? And so I would take inspiration from the way that the architecture is put together and the like kind of quirkiness and flow of things and random shapes and things like that, right? So like asking yourself, what are things that you would embrace in your life or outside of your life to just implement into your brand that maybe isn't direct, right?
Hmm.
But can kind of influence these significant or different things that are for you and not solely based on the wedding industry.
Yeah. Oh no, I love that because there's like that. is almost easier to be like, okay, yeah, I really love, that architect, or I love,
Right.
this kind of like cinematic movie or something.
Right.
And like I draw inspiration from that, or even not like I draw inspiration, but just like I really, something about this speaks to me,
Right.
and it's
Right.
different than everything else.
Yeah, and a good example of this is Madison's website, right? So, or it's Madison, she loves
Yes.
concert photography, right? And so we implemented these things that have nothing to do with the wedding industry,
Right.
but the number of times that she has people say, "I think it's so cool that like your website's so music inspired, and we've got tickets, like concert tickets for the packages and things like that," right? So you would think that the things that make you a person would disconnect people from the wedding industry. But I think it comes back to where you said, I've got these 10, 20 tabs open that all look the same. And like this one person has something that's like so unrelated and so cool, like something that I can relate to as like a human to human.
Yeah.
I want to reach out to them and see if we connect, right? And there's this level of like, especially with the wedding industry, everything's so heightened. Like, am I going to trust this person? Am I going to connect with them? Am I going to do these things, right? So there's so many elements that when you bring in personality, and obviously too, it's all strategic. So making sure that it's not for every brand to have that, right? Those kind of extremes.
Right.
It's not for every brand to go that crazy out, but there are ways to subtly incorporate things that one, make you excited to show up, and then two, can connect you to your potential clients a little bit more as well.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I love Madison's website, and just
Thank
like,
you.
I
My
don't,
holy grail.
yes,
I'm
I
like,
don't
this is
know if, I think you had done that before I met her. Because I met her before the conference a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and that was one of the things that I like was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have Madison on the show, because
Yeah.
like this is so unique, and like the bride with the like blue or green hair on the like
Hmm.
homepage, I was like, this screams different. This
Right.
is like, it draws in the people who are different and are looking
Hmm.
for someone who is different. And like you said, that's kind of a more extreme example of like
Example.
having
Hmm.
everything in there. Kids, I'm going to tell you an incredible story. A story about how I met your mother. And I'll tell it in less than 9 years. Years ago, I used to spend all of my time editing photos and straightening and cropping and color grading. All of my friends thought I was antisocial, but really, I was just overworked. Then I met Imagine AI. Imagine AI looks at the steps that you take from your raw images to your final products, and then they replicate that so everything looks like your edits. And the best part is that they learn more and more and get better after every single photo shoot. Since I've been using Imagine AI, it has saved me over 200 hours of editing time, time that I could spend on other things like going to Super Bowl parties and meeting your mom. So, if you want some extra time in your life, go to allheartphoto.com/AI and get your first 1,500 images edited for free. That's allheartphoto.com/AI and get back your time. See how I didn't fixate on your Aunt Robin? This is how you tell a story. Now back to the show. And there's a photographer local here. He's actually also been on the show, Miguel, with San Angel Photo, and like theirs is also kind of, their website is music themed. So I think
Hmm.
their packages are also like different like tiers of like, this is like a backyard show or something, or like a
Right. Right.
stadium or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's like little hints to music, and like
Hmm.
they have like a little part in there about like, they have like a Spotify list that they like to play
Hmm.
at engagement sessions, and it's
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff with the music lovers. They're going to connect to that, and that is something personally that
Hmm.
maybe they're not going to have like a music themed wedding or something like that, but that's part of their personality and part of yours that mesh together. And it's like drawing them in,
Right.
like, okay, I think we'll be, not only are you going to like take great photos of the wedding, but you're also going to, like, personality wise, we're going to mesh together because we have
Right.
shared interests.
Yeah. And I think like on a lesser scale than that, I think or like on the opposite end, I think a lot of people will kind of communicate that they like want luxury, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you stand out in like luxury? And how do you kind of separate yourself, right, when it comes to like luxury or high end? And I think people, I mean, I'm all about simplifying when the time is right, or if the brand is right.
Yeah,
Sorry if you can hear my dog.
that's
um
okay. We've had
um
plenty of dogs in the background of the
okay.
podcast.
And I think there's ways in which you can have elegant, defining elements that are tied to your brand. So like I did a photo and video couple who they were international couple. So he was from Germany and she is from Wisconsin. And a lot of their brand, obviously they wanted to travel, but they wanted like luxury travel
Yeah.
weddings. And so there was one, the like high end travel aesthetic kind of feeling to it, but also they had a significant tie to pearls. And so we had like pearls throughout their website, or like a pearl background texture that's
Mm-hmm.
very defined for them, but also screams luxury. And I've had quite a few people who have said they've come to their website and were automatically like magnetized to them. They were like, this is so different than anything they've seen before, right? So it can be as extreme as like a full theme, or tied to certain elements that feel authentic to you or what you're tied to, because again, it's
Mm-hmm.
your brand and your personality, and you can kind of latch on to certain things that you want to kind of bring forward.
Yeah. I love the like the pearl background, because it's like a subtle thing that maybe you don't quite notice, but then whenever you do notice it, it's like, oh, okay, this is great. What are some ways, like, maybe for the listeners who are like, I don't have a connection to pearls, I'm not a concert
Right.
photographer, like I don't have like these big things. Like for me, like I grew up very like I kind of muted a lot of myself through my
Hmm.
teens and early 20s, and really wasn't until like my late 20s that I started being like, oh, like there's more
Right.
to me than just, you know, trying to please everyone else. um and still trying to find like new things that I'm like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
apparently I'm very into like retro video games, so maybe
Oh, I love
tying
that.
something
Oh,
in
that would
like
be
that.
so cool.
Yes.
So that could be as simple as like adding, retro colors,
Hmm.
especially depending on if you want to stay, more of like a high end look, or maybe don't want to go super retro with like everything in the brand.
Yeah.
I feel like a big thing that I try to say to my clients is that it's all about balance. So, like, whether you want to keep like luxury or like personality, finding a balance between all of the different elements in your brand
Hmm.
can allow you to add flares of personality. So like it could be color or whatever, but again, depending on how far you want to go, but like change up a font, change up a color, change up a element that you find that you can connect to, and those will bring just the hints of personality in. But I think also what I was going to say about like bringing in personality, maybe let's not think about like the physical branding piece of it, but more of like showcasing, thinking of ways to showcase the ways in which you're different. So think about your portfolio. Think about like,
Yeah.
how do you approach your weddings? How do you approach your client experience, and highlighting those, because that will be a differentiator than someone who just puts the regular things on their website that every other photographer, every other planner puts on their site. if that makes sense. So there's ways to bring personality that aren't directly tied to, let's say, the, colors, the fonts, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Like more of like the copy that you're putting out there, the images that you choose to share that aren't just the
Yeah.
same, hero image of a couple walking off towards sunset.
I
And
also love to challenge people when it comes to their portfolio, like let's say pages.
mhm.
I had a really cool client who they would send out, and they're in the luxury market, but they would send out, they would hold off on sending out their wedding gallery until the couple sends a photo of them together at a date night. And then they would send the gallery so that they would watch it together. And so we showcase that on like the portfolio single page, like post page, and
Okay.
kind of like told that story or told that experience and why that's important to them.
Yeah.
And so again, it's a little nod, but it just makes that connection a little bit more real, shows that you put in that time and effort and experience
hmm
into their experience.
Yeah, that you care more than just like, hey, I'm going to get you the photos as quickly as I can, even if you're
Right.
like opening up the email as you're like in the bathroom and just like scrolling
Right.
like by yourself and like, oh, these are
Yeah.
so pretty and like crying and everything. It's like, I want to make sure that you're having an amazing experience seeing these for the first time. And
Right.
like
Right.
that comes through as different than
Mhm.
the 10 other tabs open that are just like, well, you can pay extra for expedited um, editing and all that. It's like, well, this one, like, she cares about me and like how my experience is after the wedding day,
Right.
weeks
And I
later.
just think that it just defines you as being different. Because how
hmm
many photographers or how many planners have you gone to their site and just see a scrolling gallery,
Yep.
right? Versus one that kind of has another story to tell or whatever, right? So there's different ways that you can kind of add that personality, even like sections on your site that kind of highlight different, you know, things that you do and the way that you approach what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I just unplugged my headphones and I was like,
Uh-oh. You're like, yeah, I
I
get it.
followed where you
Uh-huh.
were going, but I also didn't hear what you said. But
But
yeah, no, man, it's so good because I feel like we get caught up in like just trying to move forward and like right now in the industry, like I don't know, probably like 5-7 years ago it was very much like the elopement photographer was huge. Everyone wanted to be traveling, everyone wanted to be in the mountains, and that's what
mhm,
everyone was like rebranding into. And now I feel like luxury is where everyone is just like, I'm
mhm,
a luxury photographer.
right.
But then
And I feel like they're doing that because they're trying to distinguish themselves from all of the newcomers,
yes.
right? And so we have to be luxury, we have to be high end and those
hmm
kinds of things. But we're stripping back at the same time the actual things that make you different.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like there are um, kind of ways that, yeah, like you can showcase that you're experienced and that you're, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, that you know what you're doing, that don't have to strip back everything that makes you all the lessons you learned and like the way that you show up and like
Right.
how you can take care of them
Yeah.
in the best way.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of people are looking at luxury photographers because, there's a lot of luxury photographers, like the really big names out there,
Right.
that they don't really make sales on their website. They work
Yeah.
through planners. So
Hmm.
their website is not where they really need to focus their energy on having a personality
Hmm.
there, having any sort of brand. It's just like
Yeah.
scrolling portfolio, some scripty fonts and stuff, and
Right.
a cool crest, and
Yeah.
like it looks luxury, so it's good. But like we, sometimes like the kind of mid range, maybe people who have been in the industry for 3 to 10 years or so, who
Right.
are not quite luxury or just like I want to be like high end or whatever. but they're looking at that website and being like, this is so minimalist. And so like,
Right.
there's nothing here. That's what I'm going to do. And it's going to look luxury.
Yeah.
But then it's not
And I would
speaking to
even
people.
argue that those people, because I know exactly, there's been a rise of like showcasing those websites and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I would even argue that it's not even the planners that are getting them booked. It's literally their name and their like establishment in the industry because they've been there for so long, their reputation, all of that. Because I do feel like there's high-end photographers, for instance, with connections to planners that I would argue you still have to stand out a lot, you know, because let's say that a planner gives 10 different, you know, recommendations or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, 10 of the exact same luxury style photographers. Which one's going to stand out and make that person actually take the next step? Right. So I think a lot of people sometimes too with their branding as they've kind of progressed may rely solely on, well, I get referrals. It's like, but how many times have you been referred and never got the sale?
Yeah.
You know, because you blended in with everyone else. Right. So it's great that you've worked so hard to get those referrals and that networking and all of that. But then what makes you stand out? Because if you're on a referral list, there's, you know, X amount of other people that are also looking at it at the same time.
Oh,
and imagine 100%. Your site is one that just knocks them in the face, essentially. Then they're going to like click that submit button because they've had that referral. They know that they can trust you and you like stood out to them. You'll, you know, get that inquiry.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One example, like as you were talking about that, I was like, just coming to my mind is Jennifer Lawrence, the photographer, not the actor.
I was like, you know her?
Jennifer Lawrence,
oh my God, introduce me.
In that movie Mother, she really stood out, which she did. But Jen Lawrence, she is like, she's a high-end photographer, luxury photographer, like, but her website is just so colorful. It's just like a punch in the face of color. And if you are wanting colorful, vibrant film photos, like if that's your style, she immediately stands out from the crowd. Right. So if like if she's one of those referrals, it's like, oh, this is very different. This is not the like, you know, kind of muted greens and all of that a lot of people are doing, but it's just like, oh, this is like double exposures and like, you know, sparkles and stuff in the photos. And this is different. For people who are just like, okay, Rebel, this sounds amazing. I should definitely do this 100%. I need to put more personality into my brand, but I don't know my personality. I don't know what stands out special about me. Do you have any recommendations of like questions they can ask themselves or something they can go through to just be like, what does make me different?
Yeah. So I will have to look up the, I believe I have a blog post that asks a few questions that you can like ask yourself before you rebrand. So I can give you that URL, but I think specifically when you're thinking about like what makes you different, I would dive into, because I do think it comes with a lot of deep work of like when you're going through a rebrand or when you want to add some more personality to your website. I think it starts with what's the service that I'm providing, because the point of the website and the brand is to like kind of get out there the service that you give. So I would start with kind of running down what you do in your service and in your packages and kind of say like, is there anything that I do that's different or unique, or what do I love about doing these certain things, right? So like if you show up on a wedding day and you love being able to like connect with the bridal party or whatever, right? Like walk through every little tiny step and start to ask yourself like, do I do anything different? And what do I love or not love? Like one of my worst things when I was a wedding videographer was like, I hated the family portraits, right? So that was one of the most dreadful things, right? So it's like, what can I do to like help that or whatever? And it's like, well, why don't I like that? Well, because I want to be connecting with my couple or like having the interactions, right? So like thinking about what you like on about your service. And then I think that would give you some insights about your passion and why you do what you do, because the ultimate goal of your branding is to pull that out, right? Like to pull out why it is that you do what you do. And then I would go into the inspiration piece that we talked about earlier of like, what am I inspired by? What do I enjoy doing outside of my work? What am I passionate about? Am I a mom and I love my family? Do I love music? Do I love going for runs? Right. So looking at those kinds of things, and okay, I'm not going to have a running person on my website, but do I like that because I love peace and quiet, or, you know, the sereneness that comes with that? Yeah. Well, maybe that should be reflected on your website. Is your website crazy and not serene? Then that's a disconnect, and then you wouldn't show up professionally there. So I think, does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was like, I loved how you tied in like the sereneness of like the quiet of running, and just like that seclusion of like you're alone with your thoughts, or a podcast or whatever, and you're just running, right. And it's just that serene time, and then taking that into your brand, where if you have like, you know, 15 different fonts on your website, and it's just like right. a bunch of craziness, and like going from here to here right. in different colors, and it's like
you won't like colors, right? Right. So you make sure your color palette is soft and, you know, pretty or whatever. So
yeah. Okay.
I think thinking about your passions is really the core of it, right? So passions, what do you like doing? You could do like, if you're in an inspirational like area, or, you know, like where you're located, then you can think about the types of weddings. That's another big part too, right? If you like to do the country club weddings, then your brand would look different than the people who do our good old Texas barn weddings, right? So like thinking about the type of people that you want to attract. What are they? Where do you want to be showing up in the real life and with your service? And how can we reflect that in the brand as well?
Yeah. Okay. Rebel, this has been so good. I have really enjoyed this. And yeah, I think that is a great kind of like ending spot there of like, these are some great things to do. To really think about those, maybe go for a run and think about what to implement into your brand. But yeah, okay, before we wrap up and let people know where they can find you online and all that, there's something that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week. So it can be literally anything, you know, movie, TV show, book.
I've literally been thinking about this so much, and I was like, what am I going to say? My latest obsessions have been Poppy for like my late night drink. Okay. The Poppy drink.
Yes.
I have also
any particular flavor of Poppy?
I think it's like raspberry, maybe. Okay. Is it raspberry? The pink one?
The pink one? Uh-huh.
I love raspberry though. Like any raspberry flavorings, I'm there.
Yep.
So, I also have been obsessing over simplifying my life and my business and my tasks. I am a chronic over deliverer, over analyzer, and I have really been like back to the basics of like a to-do list for the day, checking things off, setting a timer, and not being extra. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of what I'm kind of obsessed with right now.
Okay. Oh, I love it. That's good. I identify a lot with all of that you just said.
Yeah.
I have been loving this week. I recently I don't know, we got rid of Netflix years ago, and then we remembered the Great British Bake Off, and we were like, we should probably get Netflix.
We love a good Bake Off.
It's so good.
When I go to my parents, it's always a Bake Off. One of those Bake Offs are on her TV.
Yes, it's a good quality show. And it's always just like, how did you make that? Or sometimes it's like, I could make that. I think I could do this. I've
also been obsessed with styling my home. We bought a home last year, and
Yeah.
I'm just now getting into my like, I need to style everything, and so I'm on Amazon all the
Yeah.
time
You've
figuring out
you've settled
what
in
to
and like have a feel of like, okay, this is where
right,
things should go. Now I need a style where all these things
right,
should go.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Awesome. Well, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I'm loving Great British Bake Off. We just wrapped up this most recent season. But a show that I've been wanting to watch for a while and just didn't have Showtime or whatever, it was Yellow Jackets. Uh,
okay,
I had no idea what it was about. I just heard that I would like it. And it's a great one to go into, not knowing anything about. If you're okay with like thriller,
wow,
kind of semi horror, I think they put it in that category, but it's more just like storytelling. They go back and forth between, like, not to give much away, like there's a team of, I think they're like a high school soccer team,
okay,
girls soccer team. Their plane crashes and then they have to survive in the wilderness, but it goes
ooh,
back and forth between the survivors once they're grown adults back in civilization and the girls
interesting.
in the wilderness. And it's really good. I binged 2 seasons pretty quickly. But yeah, it's a good show.
Sounds like something my husband would like, so I might have to check it out.
Check it out. But yeah, okay. Well, where can people find you? Where can they work with you, see what you do, all those things?
Yeah, so it's Lenya Creative. So Lenya is for lion. So my Leo lion is my
Nice.
kind of my what's it called, symbol or whatever for my business. So it's lenyacreative.com is my website, and then my Instagram is Lenya at Lenya Creative. And then yeah, I have branding and website and systems services from beginner, I would say like 3,500 to anywhere from the top all in SEO, copywriting, all of those kinds of things. The idea is that we are a one-stop shop. So you get all your branding and marketing and all of that from Linear Creative.
Perfect. Okay. Well, awesome. I will
Yeah.
have all of that linked. And then
I'll try to
I'll,
find that blog
yeah, I
that
was
I'll
going to
send to
say
you.
also throw that blog link in the show notes for everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much for being on the show. I loved getting
Yeah.
to connect again and catch up.
Yeah. For sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast. As always, you can find all the things in the show notes. You can find links to where Rebel is. You can go follow her on Instagram. You can work with her. I got her. I do have that blog link for you, which is really great. I did go through that myself. So definitely click on that. That is in the show notes as well. And like I said at the beginning, come join us on Patreon. It's going to be a really fun time. I am very excited. We're doing our first critique next week if you're listening to this as it comes out. But thank you for listening, and keep creating, keep making the world a better place. See y'all next week. Bye, y'all.